Hey everybody, welcome back to our neck of the woods. Happy 4th of July. RV living, don't do it. Don't do it. So we just had something else go wrong with the RV. Luckily, not too big. The AC unit had a little failure again. Before, what ended up happening a year ago, we had no cold air blowing, and the manufacturer decided to put the signal wire, the temperature sensor that sticks inside of the coils for when it gets frosted up, they decided to just leave that dangling right in the path of air blowing down into the RV. And the signal wire got severed by the sheet metal that's in there, because there's like normal, like kind of house ducting going up and through the ceiling there, and it was completely severed, and without the signal wire, the AC wouldn't work. Now, amongst other failures, we've had leaking water, we've had an exploded hot water tank, we've got mice, we've got the propane tanks that come with the RV only last for about 2 days in the winter, so that gets expensive and annoying to constantly go get it, which is why we already have our house propane tank back there. And numerous other things. This complete separation failure of one or two of the kickouts. Two kickouts are identical and one is different. And this kickout here, for example, behind this weather stripping right here, the floor basically dropped and water was going down here and getting into the OSB, getting up in and completely saturating the carpet, and we thought we were going to have a complete failure and mess. Luckily it dried out, the smell's gone, but what I ended up doing was taking off of this weather stripping, getting some like 4-inch, basically zip tape, but a different company, sticking it on there, going down over the OSB, and then sticking it all the way back on here on this like plastic flashing that they have. What they should have done is this flashing here, it's like an L piece. It's only 1 inch here, but like 3 inches this way. It should have been reversed. The 3 inches should have been up here, so it completely covered all of this, and then the 1 inch there. So now the flashing tape that's in there basically covers all of that, and then I siliconed on top of this weather stripping here and put that back down. But yeah, you can probably see how it's a little bit thicker, like right in here versus over there, and that's because the floor sagged, and once that happened, all that water just infiltrated in there. So I went ahead and basically took all of the 4 spots that happened to also and did the exact same thing. So that was a huge failure. So if anyone out there is looking for RVs, I do not recommend Jayco. Now, this last failure really I don't think is Jayco's fault in a way. What ended up happening, we were sitting there in the living room and the ceiling completely just started to rain like a downpour. What happened was in the AC unit where the condenser is and the ice melts, it sits in a little plastic tray, and on each side of the tray there's a tiny little weeping hole, and somehow dirt got blown up in there, which makes no sense because the front cover kind of protects you from that, and then it's completely housed in a metal box, so I'm not sure how that much debris got stuck down in those. But I got a drill bit, drilled the holes out a little bit bigger, got it out of there, and now all the water will drain away. But that sucks. So Aaron's in there cleaning up, making sure that, again, we don't have to worry about mold growth or anything really happening there. But yeah, again, if you guys are looking at permanently RVing, I do not recommend it. I don't know what company is going to be better than anyone else, but you're going to have failures. And if you're out on the road, you've got to fix them yourself fast. Luckily for me, I was able to figure out the temperature sensor last year, quickly ran up there, popped the cover off, and pretty much assessed that the weeping hole was clogged. Figuring out the flashing tape all around there and some PEX tubings that have leaked. Had to retighten the sink, and one I couldn't get to, so it's an outside cold line. I just said screw it. I cut it, put a cap on it, and clamped it off. And now basically you can't wash your RV with your own water supply, which I don't really care about, so I'm not worried about it. But again, if you guys are looking at doing something like this permanently, you better be good at mechanics, because crap is going to go wrong constantly, and it sucks when it does. All right, so at least for the start of this video, there's, again, not much to do today. I'm gonna go ahead and bust out the tractor, and we're gonna go ahead and start moving some of this dirt because it's been dry for about 2 days. And any wet spots that there is, I'm gonna go ahead and fill in, just kind of pack it down, and especially where the well drillers, their hole caved in, we're gonna go ahead and clean all that up. Oh, and before I forget, while I'm going and getting the tractor keys, because I forgot, we did start a little bit more painting in the garage. So we got this side pretty much almost done. Whoever recommended the green fog tape, you are awesome. That worked perfectly. The frog tape has a very clean cut line. There were no blowouts. And the green tape said it was a medium adhesive, so it did not pull any of my white off. Although granted, that white's been on there for about a week, so I didn't think it was gonna pull anyway. But the green fog tape worked very well to get that precise line. And yeah, if you guys are seeing over here, I just said screw it. I'm not gonna do the white board or the white trim. I'm gonna go ahead and just do gray throughout, because let's face it, if I'm washing a car, if I leave the bottom trim white, that's gonna get really dirty and stained and have water spots on it. And then that tray up there, if I set anything down on there, well, let's face it, that's gonna constantly, if a tool gets set down on there, the tool is gonna leave like a stain, a dirt mark. So might as well just go ahead and do it all in gray. So hopefully you guys can see that. But for me, I think it looks good just like that. So that's how we're gonna leave it. And then back into the sauna. If you guys notice anything in here, Aaron and I, again, cleaned up everything, so it looks freaking awesome. We can actually get around and doing stuff, and yeah, I think it just looks great, and it feels so much better to be kind of that much more closed up and cleaned up. That'll do, pig. That'll do. That should buy me a little bit of time till we get the gutters on and get those boards right there so we're not getting backsplash. So I think I might have fixed the door issue and with the mice, and I also have a solution for this door that I'll show you. But real quick, as a little product review, I've had this for a while and it doesn't seem to work that well at attracting mice and stuff, but basically it's called the Goodnature A24. What it is you can mount this device here on like a wall so it sits more like that, or you can buy this little like walk-in cage. What it is it's a CO2 powered trap that when mice or rats or whatever get up in there, there's a tiny little pencil metal rod up in there, and they have to get past the metal rod to get up in here, which houses a can of like chocolate and peanut butter. And you can squeeze a little bit out and get it all over the place. And basically what happens is, the reason why they call it the Goodnature is because it doesn't use any poison, and technically cats and other animals can take the dead bodies away, but they basically just go up in there, hit that metal wire, and a hydraulic piston or a CO2 powered piston basically shoots out and snaps their neck. If you watch some YouTube videos, you'll see how many just in a heavily populated area, how many that kills in a night, and it's crazy. And each one of those CO2 cartridges is good for about 25 hits before you have to replace it. So if you count all the bodies, it just works. And again, since there's no poison or anything, a cat can stroll by in the middle of the night, take the body away, and it's just really more humane, an easy, quick, instantaneous kill, and you're not hurting wildlife by taking a dead mouse off that's like full of poison. Now, last night what I was noticing is, oh, by the way, I got the rest of the trim on, but last night what I was noticing is this garage door over here in these areas where I put that trim on, there's no light coming through there. And what I noticed is I can't push down on this garage door. It is all the way pushed onto the ground, and the cable here is actually very loose. Now, if we go over to this garage door, you can see that there is still light coming through there, and a mouse could probably fit through there no problem. So I noticed that this garage door has a lot of movement. I can push that down at least 1/4 of an inch, and when I push down on it real hard, you can see that the light basically goes away. And then what I noticed is this cable is extremely tight. So this entire door basically is not sitting on the ground. The cable is holding it up. So while Precision Door comes over and replaces that trim piece and gives me an extra one in case it ever happens, I'm gonna have them loosen this cable up so the entire weight of the door is pushing on the ground, closing the gap in between the weather seal and the concrete. And then again, with my PVC trim there, I think it'll completely lock the mice out, and then they can't get in anymore. So it's like 2 in the morning, not something I wanna be doing right now, but I had to show you guys this because I've kind of made a big mistake, and it's not good, but I think I've rectified it, so I just want to share it real quick. So I was doing some painting over in that corner by the big garage door, and I've been noticing huge carpenter ants. And even though I put that lower trim on, I also caulked in between the trim and the concrete, and I missed a tiny little spot, and I noticed carpenter ants going in and out. So somehow carpenter ants are getting around the garage door, behind the trim. I've seen them go that way. They're trying to get up into the house. I've seen white flakes everywhere. I don't know if it's Genstone. I don't know if it's the closed cell within the walls. I don't know if it's plastic. I don't know what it is, but I think I fixed it and figured it out. But the carpenter ants are trying to get in over in here and everything. And when we go outside, hopefully you guys can see with the flashlight. What I noticed outside is all these carpenter ants, like there's one right there. And because it's late at night, I noticed that right up in here, you can see I just caulked that crack all the way up there before we get the siding on. They were all the way up in there, and just thousands of them making a tunnel up in there. And then they've been all over the ground over here. You can still see some. You've got some that were going along the house this way. And basically the mistake that I made is I followed a path of them all the way out here, which is not too far away, but you've got to get it away from the house. If you can see this on camera, all right in here, this dust, this log was sitting there, and there was just millions of them. So I got my blowtorch out, and you can probably still see them all over in there. But I got my blowtorch out, that big guy right there, and I've just been roasting this log, which I've got to do it again and start killing some more because they're everywhere. But basically, they've left this home or whatever, crawled all the way through the yard, found the corner of the house there, and then I think they're up and behind the soffit because that siding's not on and that siding's not caulked yet. But yeah, that upper piece of trim right there going there, They're probably behind there. So we got to get this nest taken care of, and we got to get somebody out to start spraying the house. But at least for the time being, if you guys have any like dead wood like this laying around, or even like new wood like this, get it the heck away from the house, and that way you don't have a nest trying to transfer and basically destroy something. Because again, I don't know what it is that they're chewing. I think it's Genstone, but who knows? Either way, that's not good for a new house to have something be torn and eaten away like that. Hey guys, welcome back for another day. So not much gonna get done. I did want to update you though. I did find out that the white stuff that I'm seeing is Genstone. So Carpenter ants are gnawing through it like there is no tomorrow. And I don't know if that would have been helped in any location that you live in. Anywhere where there's like two spots, like right here and right here come together, there's a little bit of a crack up in there. And all that white flake down in there is the Carpenter ants basically just eating the Genstone and tunneling through it. So I've got a chemical sprayer coming back out on Monday. We did have one for a while out here, but the last few times they were out here, they just ticked me off. The truck wasn't working. They've got like a big pump that can spray out like 100 PSI of this stuff. And he's like, oh, I can't get it to work. And he's like going around with like a little can. And I'm like, this is not worth it. So canceled them for a while, but we're seeing Carpenter ants in the RV. So they'll at least bait them around with poison, little pellets around the RV and probably around the foundation of the home. I'm gonna turn them away this time if the sprayer on the truck isn't working, because I want like a 30-foot stream of that poison going up and down the corners of all the houses. He's gonna have to go all the way around the house along the base, because that wall in particular with the Genstone has the ants in it. I want him to basically spray that down. It doesn't seem to do any harm to anything, like it doesn't turn it colors or leave a residue, which I don't know how watered down this stuff is, but I mean, if I'm not happy, I'm gonna cancel them, get my money back, maybe, or just go with somebody else. But yeah, Genstone, not impervious to Carpenter ants. They will eat through it like there's no tomorrow, which means mice and everything else will probably want to tunnel through it too. So once we get the concrete in, kind of like what you're seeing in here, I'll just have to keep an eye on it, and at least they can spray the chemical right onto the concrete and a foot or so up the Genstone. Same thing when we put the sidewalk going down the back of the house, and whatever stone or whatever we do on the front of the house here, that at least with mice, I can see some tunneling, and mice obviously aren't gonna get through there. But it would be also a lot easier to see a hole being formed, because you'll see the shavings on the concrete. So is what it is, but there's not really much that I can do. And then rewatching that video the other night, people are probably gonna ask what the heck was on my head. So little product review here. Let me know if you guys want these, because I seem to buy stuff all the time that people don't recognize or want to use. And like I have always said, I'm kind of one for spreading the love. So this is a Lightbar. It was actually one of a commercial in one of my videos. I was rewatching stuff, and they've got 3 different kinds of these. Instead of having just like a spotlight on your head with like an LED that takes a big old battery, rechargeable or not, whether you can wide fan it or spotlight it, this to me is a lot more comfortable. It weighs absolutely nothing. It's got a real nice soft like neoprene type stuff, that headband. And the Lightbar itself is actually Velcroed to this band. So you can wash the band, remove the battery pack, and recharge it. And this thing is sweet. It shines light, obviously 360 degrees in every direction, except actually down in your eyes when it's on your forehead. It doesn't blind you. It's got 3 different settings, low, medium, and high. And then it also has a spotlight feature, which will only turn on basically 4, and that only has a high and a low. Now there's 3 different models of this. There's the regular that takes batteries. There's the Sport, which I got, which comes with a rechargeable battery. And then there's a Pro that I think it just lasts longer basically. But I think on medium or low power, this thing goes for 6 hours nonstop. And again, like the other day when I was working on my truck, putting in all of the light bars and everything, that was a huge pain in the you-know-what, because it's not that bright on the ground when you're under a car, even though you've got all this light. I had a flashlight that has a little like bipod on it, but you're having to like put it on the bipod and get it to where you want to go. And if you bump it and move, it doesn't really help. But with this on your head, everywhere you look, it's just 360 degrees. Well, at least out in the front, so 180 all the way around for everything that you're working on. And it's just freaking awesome. And like I said, it's lightweight, it's comfortable. This one's, I think, $49. The Pro was like $89. I thought that was a little expensive. And then I think it was only $29 for the regular that takes batteries. But you can buy rechargeable AAA batteries anyway. So, yeah, Lightbar, check it out. If you guys need something like that and you're working in a dark space, just slap this on your head and go. Because whether you look funny or not and you're out camping or doing whatever, it's freaking awesome. And then last, I finally got around and got an actual tester for the outlets. So this is by Klein. They pretty much make almost everything electric, like when you go to Home Depot and everywhere else. But I got this one off of Amazon. I think it was only $10, as you can see, very small. And it is a ground fault tester. So when you plug it in, the lights will light up and tell you if you've got an open ground, open neutral, open hot, hot ground reversed, hot neutral reversed, and then correct. And then that little button is also a GCFI kind of faulter. So as we've got that outlet down there for the ground fault, if we go ahead and plug in, you can see we've got 2 oranges, which means we are wired correctly. And then if we test it, I just popped the ground fault over there. So we know that at least that outlet, and you can check every outlet that it's working correctly. And apparently I did not pop the outlet. I must have heard the panel pop, because that's not resetting, and I did. There we go. Now I've reset the breaker, but now I need to reset the outlet also, so that's kind of a pain, but okay, there we go. So that was the first time I've actually popped that, so interesting news to me that you have to I guess that breaker is actually more sensitive than the outlet itself, because the outlet wasn't tripped. I was playing around with it trying to get it to reset. But yeah, so Klein, like I said, little outlet tester. If you guys need one, pick one up. This again was on Amazon for only 10 bucks. And make sure you got your house wired correctly and make sure all your ground faults are working properly. Correction, it is popping both. So it's the panel that I'm actually hearing, but it is powerful enough, or that both outlets are good enough with the breaker that both ground faults will actually trip pretty much instantaneously as you're checking and going around for all of your outlets. Hey everybody, so I feel like I haven't talked to you guys for like a week, because I don't think I have. It is Monday morning, just after midnight on Monday. So we're gonna have pest control show up today and kind of look at everything. Again, I think it was totally my fault by leaving that dead stump out there. Night after night this week, I have just been killing hundreds of carpenter ants. I go out to the stump, I look around the house, I'm looking at this big silver maple right outside this corner. I'm looking in this spot over here. I did help it out a little bit by putting some mothballs down in each corner of the garage doors, and it was actually funny. A big grass spider went under the garage door into that corner when I like went over with a light, and it turned around and booked it like 100 miles an hour in the opposite direction. It was so funny. So clearly the mothballs work. I do smell something because it is a chemical. Can't say that that's what a mothball smells like because I don't think I've ever smelt one before, but they do seem to be working a little bit. The problem is this corner here again with the Genstone. I have caulked down around there, and the carpenter ants are eating right through caulking. So not helping us out 100%. So hopefully when they come over tomorrow and they spray the crap out of the outside of the garage and up the corners, it's gonna help. But I did find a spot up in there where, again, that corner wasn't on for the trim. They trucked in through the trim and the zip paneling and the outside 4x8 sheets panels that I put on, because there's an ever so small gap where I said that outside wall was 8 foot, but it's actually like 8.5 feet, 8.25 feet. So there's 1/4 of an inch in between those 4x8 panels where the trim piece sits on, and then where the zip is that they're walking through and going that way. There's not much that they can do unless they're eating through my zip paneling and coming into the insulation. Don't know if that's happened yet, but again, once they spray everything down, I hope it kills them for good. We'll bait around the garage too, and if they are up in there still alive, then they'll take some poison up there and they'll kill the colony or however many are left. Because like I said, I've been killing thousands, and every night it gets smaller and smaller to where tonight I've maybe only seen and killed 20. So as for an update with the garage real quick, you can see we got the gray all done. We just need to chalk the line and start doing the white on this wall and this wall. Last night I painted this wall. I'm not too happy with it. And guys, I suck at painting. I know I want to bust out my sprayer, but I don't want to be getting stuff on the garage door or the concrete or on the windows, and I just don't want to tape everything off. But these walls here, the gray, I actually hand painted, and it looks so much better than a roller. But then last night, I don't know what it is. It's like the more time that you paint, the paintbrush starts to fail or the paint starts to get harder, and you start having to use more and more paint because it just seems to like absorb into the brush, or it's thicker or something. Expert painters out there, I mean, is that what happens if you have a paint can open too long? Does it get harder and harder to apply it because it's thicker and not as water-based? But like I said, no matter what I do, I can just see blotchy spots up there where whether you're on a roller or a paintbrush, it's like you lay it on thick, and then as you start to feather it out, it gets smaller. And if you make a pass back through, again, with a roller or a brush, it's like you take some of the paint off the wall and put it back into the roller, and it almost makes more of like a dry spot than a wet spot. So you've got like shiny and dull spots everywhere. Only when a light hits at 100%, but like, I don't know. You guys tell me, what is up with painting to get a consistent, even flow that you're not having the shininess and then matte finish almost, even though the paint's supposed to be a satin or whatever on an entire wall. And then before we go into the house, I thought I got this on video before, but I want to ask some experts here. When I pulled up the garage floor, some of the concrete failed under the panels. And you can see right here, we've got some major pitting going on. Now, why did that happen under the panels? I don't know. The only thing I can think of, again, if you guys go back and watch the video of when we poured the concrete, it started to heavily rain as the concrete was setting up, and it almost looked like a beach in here. All of the cream that Randall, my concrete guy, says is your top layer basically washed away, and just little tiny aggregate sand was left. And then we tried to like do stuff to it, and then it rained again, and this went on like 2 or 3 times. And then eventually he just turned the trowel all the way up powered and basically blasted down through that sand and got the garage relatively smooth and stuff. But what I'm thinking is, with that concrete failure in this spot in particular, just like kind of right in through here, I think we just lost the top layer of cream, and that's why it's failed. So again, concrete people, experts out there, tell me why that happened. And then when I do go ahead and finish this concrete floor, I'm assuming there's an epoxy or something that I can put over there, trowel it smooth, and then when we put our top coat layer of epoxy paint on here, it'll look like that spot was never there and it never did fail. All right, so into the house, not too many updates. Really, I just spent all night and today down into the basement, and I got all of the master closet and the master bedroom wiring done. So those outlets are all now powered on. I went ahead and ran a home run single 20 amp line that I just got finished going through the wall, and that's just because it's a heck of a lot easier than running it up through the floor joist. But we cut halfway right about through here, all the way through, and now we have a 100% dedicated ground fault protected sump pump line. So we are good there from now on, unless of course the power goes out. And then what else? I got some power running to the master closet, the master bedroom. And then of course, as you can see, I got light powered into the utility room, which I went ahead and used 2 little 4-inch recessed LEDs. And I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna wire up the basement lights yet. Because if you guys remember, I believe LED lights on a 15 amp circuit is something stupid crazy, like you can put 120 lights on there. So should I wire the entire basement up all on one 15 amp circuit? That 15 amp breaker is a ground fault and an arc fault, because this utility room could flood. Over there by the sump pump, that could flood. So you don't want to be standing in a completely flooded basement and not have ground fault protection. So again, I don't know how many runs I'm going to do, but I'll at least do the utility room here. And if I haven't mentioned what we're going to do with the basement yet, one thing I do know for sure that Aaron gave me the go ahead is coming off of this corner all the way down to that wall over there, this is all going to be the gym. And this gym is roughly 10 feet this way and 27.5 feet that way. So 275 square feet roughly. So I think that's a pretty good size. I mean, right here on this wall alone, not interfering with this door, that would pretty much be good for a treadmill or anything. On any one of these walls, you can go ahead and put bench press and elliptical and whatever else Aaron wants to do. I think Aaron wants to put the door down here. So you would be entering in right here with the door swinging open to the wall. And then this would give you pretty much, like I said, all 275 square feet of a pretty decent sized gym. The only thing that I hate that I messed up on it is I do like to jump rope. And for me, being 6 foot tall, the ceiling hits my jump rope. So that totally sucks that I didn't have the ceiling like another half foot or maybe even a foot taller. But we do have roughly 9.5 foot ceilings or something like that. So it is a freaking tall basement, a lot more than your average basement. And as you can see, again, we made everything in this house completely flat. So we've got no bulkhead for the main beam here. That's gonna all be flat drywall. Hopefully our plumbing can fit all up in there and we don't have to drop down. Worst case scenario, there may be a bulkhead over here if we have to drop down and get over to the septic over here, which I don't know if that's gonna be 100% needed because, again, I don't know how we're gonna get the plumbing to go through, especially if we're talking about 4 inches here. But I don't know if you put individual little pieces up through there, because let's face it, these are 16 inches on center. How the heck are you gonna run, let's say at least over to this toilet, which is like right above me, and the kitchen island is over there, and the laundry room's over there. How are we gonna get all 3 of those together and head over there to the septic and not have it drop down below all of these, which is going to force a bulkhead, which is going to suck. But again, if you put it against that back wall, I don't know. But again, now plumbing experts out there, can you put literally 16-inch PVC pieces together one at a time with a coupling like 20 feet long, or is that a big no-no? And each PVC run has to be, you know, 10 foot or 20 foot long before it engages like a coupling. And then last, we already have told you guys that there's a Jack and Jill bedroom going down here. So over in that corner, we'll block off the sump pump so it's nice and quiet away from that bedroom. But there will be a bedroom there, a bathroom in the middle, and then a bedroom over here. And then pretty much this space all over in here is whatever we want. Aaron wants to put the couches and everything right here. So against that back wall will be a huge projection screen or something in entertainment. We want to do a bar or something back in here. And then over in this corner below the stairs, it's really just going to be all open. There's really not much to do there, but pretty simple. Again, design's not 100%, but that's just an update for you guys and where we're sitting. So like I said, there's not too much more to do for electric. We've got to get the a light switch over into the half bath and outlets over into the master bath. And once that's done, I'll be completely done with all of that. And then we'll have to figure out some outlets here in the utility room. Obviously, because I don't know what the boiler's gonna be powered off of, what the hot water tank, the pump and everything for the well or the pressure tank. So I'll have to wait and see what type of outlets and power that I need in here. But we at least got the one over here, which I did disassemble, by the way, because we don't need this anymore. I just need to go ahead and get an outlet for over in here. So this GCFI will feed over to here. I broke that breaker down and used that breaker, I think, for the master bedroom, and that's where we're sitting. So I only think 1 or 2 more home runs for the electric, and pretty much upstairs will be done. The only thing that we won't be able to complete, which I don't know if the county is going to frown upon that or not, is we have no idea what we're gonna do for like a kitchen island, like what it's gonna look like or anything. Obviously we know the size because this 4x8 sheet is still sitting here, but the county may not pass me until I actually buy the island and put it in, so that I can put my dishwasher outlet in, garbage disposal outlet, if we're doing anything else like regular outlets, USB ports, a wine cooler thingy. So that's gonna be at least 4 or 5 more outlets that they'll have to see to approve. Oh, and then we've got a home run up here for the dining room, the mud room, and then up in here we still need to finish. So I think 2 outlets need to go on that wall, that one right there, and then again the mud room. And if we tie the dining room into the living room, that will all be one circuit where we'll be under 10 outlets, and that will be fine for code. Oh, and last thing, I also just got wired up. Don't want to forget. Kind of a little upset about this, but it is what it is. So Aaron ordered a ceiling fan for our bedroom. So it doesn't look that big. It says on the box, we thought the dimensions were going to be pretty big, but when you look up there from such a great height and such a large room, it actually looks pretty puny up there. It does give off some good airflow, but I don't know. Those blades to me look like they should be like 2 foot in each direction longer. But anyway, what I'm upset about is I bought this over here for a fan switch control and obviously the light switch, but it comes with its own remote for the fan and it comes with its own remote switch for the light. So that really sucks because, I don't know, it's $5 worth of switch and more time to do the wiring and stuff. So this will never get used unless we swap this out one day, like if this breaks and we need a new one, and then this remote becomes useless. But at least for now, the 3-way switch is working. So that goes ahead and lights up the bedroom pretty good. And again, each switch works. So on, off on each side of the bedroom. But so you'll never have to use these buttons here, and I have no idea what these buttons do. This top button turns it on and off, and this bottom button turns it on and off. I don't know if they're supposed to be like a dimmer effect, but either one, it's the same brightness. So basically you just have to leave that on all the time and you can kill that off. And then as for the fan, you've got high, medium, and low. And okay, that's what I just found out. You have to have power on to the light, and you can turn the light off, but power is still going to the unit. And yeah, you can go ahead and turn the fan on. That makes sense. So if you shut either switch off, the fan will shut off, but the remote can have the light on or the light off. And I gotta say, at least on level 3, even standing over here, you can still feel it. But yeah, unless you're standing directly under it, you're not gonna get a lot of flow. And if our bedroom is over here, you're really only gonna feel it at your feet, unless we, well, I don't really wanna move it because the light is in the middle of the bedroom. But who knows, maybe when the walls are all on, maybe when the walls are all on and everything in the ceiling, maybe you'll be able to feel it like blow down and back up. But I don't know, it's not bad. It's extremely quiet. It seems to give off some decent light. So there you have it. We got a bedroom ceiling fan now. And that's it really. So like I said, not a lot done this week. The weather's been absolutely horrible. It's been thunderstorm and raining. The yard looks like crap, so there's no way I'm gonna get a lift in here and start on the roof anytime soon. The only thing that I can pretty much do, again, with a little bit of wiring and a little bit of framing, and then I'm at a standstill. We'll see. Until then, again, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. I'm gonna meet the pest killer early in the morning and probably start a new video there, but at least I'll get something out to you guys this week. So until then, we will see you guys next time. If you enjoy the video, like products, I'll link everything down below so you guys can go ahead and get something, because it's freaking awesome, especially down there in the basement tonight. This was a lifesaver instead of having to do a flashlight everywhere. So again, if you liked the video, hit that thumbs up. It really helps our channel out, gets us out to more people. If you guys haven't subscribed, do so, please. Share with your friends videos. If there's anything that we've done that someone else needs to see, go ahead and copy that link and share it with somebody. Again, that helps us get out to more people. And if you need to personal message us, hit us up on NeckofTheWoods2020 on Instagram for emailing. It's a little bit more private and easy. And we'll see you guys next time. So until then, take care.